Shellos, the sea slug Pokemon. Shellos are amphibian-like in appearance and are based on gastropods, a type of sea slug. It resembles various species of nudibranchs, and its ability to secrete purple fluid may be based on sea hares, most of which secrete a purplish ink for self-defense. Shellos was slated for release in the initial Generation 3 games, but was officially revealed as part of the Sinnoh PokéDex. Some PokéDex entries for Shellos state, the difference in colour from one Shellos to another seems to be a result of their diet. No large changes can be seen in their capabilities. This is from the Pokédex entry in Pokemon Moon, and indicates that it isn't the location directly that affects their Shellos colour, but the food that they eat. Granted, these foods are probably much more available in either the east or the west waters, and its appearance changes depending on the environment. One theory suggests that living in cold seas caused Shellos to take on this form. This is from the Pokédex entry for Shellos in Pokemon Shield, and would indicate something very different. This entry suggests that it's the temperature of the water that causes the different colours. I, however, believe that both of these could be correct. It could very easily be explained that only certain types of plankton are around in those colder eastern waters, or some of those warmer western waters, or vice versa. So it really could be a matter of both. Shellos is number 423 in the National Dex, and number 60 in the Sinnoh Pokédex. Shellos is a water-type Pokemon with no secondary typing. They will either have the ability Sticky Hold, which ensures that the Pokemon with this ability cannot have their held items stolen, eaten, destroyed, or removed, or it can have the ability Storm Drain. This powerful ability will redirect all water-type attacks to the Pokemon with this ability. Even if they're in a double battle, it will force the user of the water move to attack the ability holder directly. It will also make the user of this ability immune to all water damage. Shellos can also have the hidden ability Sand Force, which will increase the damage of rock, ground, and steel type moves by a whopping 30% while in the middle of a sandstorm, and will render the user immune to any damage from the sandstorm. Without the Storm Drain ability, Shellos have no natural immunity to any Pokemon types, but are resistant to 4. Steel, Fire, Water, and Ice type moves will only deal half damage, while Shellos is weak to Grass and Electric type attacks, which deal 2 times normal damage. The two most powerful moves that a Shellos can naturally learn are Muddy Water, a special water type attack with a base power of 90 and base accuracy of 85%, which they can learn once they reach level 35, and Earth Power, a special ground type move with a base power of 90 and base accuracy of 100%, which Shellos can learn at 35. It has been shown that the ancient Shellos that populated the Hisui region could also learn Hydro Pump, a special water type move with a base power of 100 and base accuracy of 85%. They could learn this at level 47 and master it at level 59, meaning they could use both strong and agile style variations of this move. For all Pokemon breeders out there, you are able to breed a Shellos or Gastrodon with a Grimer, Muck, Coughing, Wheezing, Gulpin, or Swalot, which will produce an egg which will hatch a Shellos that knows Sludge, a special poison type attack with a base power of 65 and an accuracy of 100%. Shellos has a minimum base stat of 325, with HP being the best at 76. However, at level 100 and perfect IV and EVs, and a supporting nature, then Shellos can increase that base HP stat from 76 to 356, a huge increase. Shellos are another example of Pokemon that have a perfect 50-50 split between male and female, meaning that neither is exceptionally more rare than the other. Shellos have a base catch rate of 35.2%, which means if you throw 3 Pokeballs at Shellos, you'll probably catch it. However, just remember that many factors can influence this, like total remaining HP and current status conditions. Shellos are what are called medium fast levelers. They won't be your first Pokemon to hit level 100, but they definitely shouldn't be your last. They are of course a part of 2 separate egg groups, being the Water 1 group and the Amorphous Egg group. And on average, once you are carrying a Shellos Pokéegg, you will need to travel roughly 5,200 steps, or 3.8 kilometers, the average height of a man, before it will hatch. The average Shellos will be 0.3 meters tall, or 1 foot, and weigh 6.3 kilos, or 13.9 pounds. Shellos has a single evolution, and will be able to evolve into a Gastrodon once it reaches level 30. And if you were to defeat a Shellos, the conquering Pokemon would receive 1 HP EV, or effort value. There are 2 different known variants of Shellos. There is the pink and white Shellos, which are frequently found in the West Sea, and the blue and green Shellos, which is frequently found in the East Sea. As the above Pokédex entry suggests though, either their food or sea temperature could be the reason for this variant change, which suggests that there are more Shellos out there that may look completely different. Who knows what they would look like in 100 years if we moved a herd of them to the Hoenn region? I guess we just need to try and wait. Shellos resemble sea slugs from our world. While there are of course some drastic differences between the east and west variants, there are also a fair number of similarities. For starters, they both have mantles protruding from their heads. The West Sea Shellos have several of these standing straight up, somewhat like a crown, while the East Sea variant has one large mantle on each side of its head, like large ears. Both Shellos also have black oval-like eyes with yellow lips and eye outlines. Their backs differ greatly too, with the West Sea Shellos having small spikes. Their backs differ greatly too, with the West Sea Shellos having small spikes similar to a Lapras along its back, while the East Sea Shellos has again two protrusions that resemble wings. They both have 4 small feet, which are fairly noticeable from their bodies. Of course, the biggest difference is their coloration. West Sea Shellos are bright pink with white underbellies, while the East Sea Shellos is a bright blue with a grass green underbelly. A Nurse Joy revealed that the core reason for these key differences was the formation of Mount Coronet. She says this caused what is known in our world as an allopatric speciation event, and the original Shellos colony, which could have looked very different, were separated and cut off from one another. Whether that was a physical cutoff, like they couldn't get past a barrier, or more likely to be able to reunite, they would need to travel great distance over land or through the sea. Both forms are still able to breed, and the resulting child will take the mother's form, or the father's form if bred with a ditto. If Shellos is pushed or squeezed, a mysterious purple fluid, which is incredibly sticky and similar to greasy sweat, will ooze out of its body. West Sea Shellos can extend their necks to incredible lengths. It's unknown if the East Sea variant can do this as well. Shellos usually live along the seashore, and they are said to have great regenerative capabilities. The species' diet consists of plankton, and Shellos can live on land or on the sea, though its skin dries out if it stays on land for too long. Shellos are not aggressive or intimidating forces, but have been seen to be very loving and happy. The few times we have seen them, they'll always have a smile on their face and seem to get along with humans and Pokemon exceptionally well. Shellos has not been heavily featured, and only one has ever been worthy of note. Of course, this is Zoe's Shellos. Zoe first caught her Shellos after failing to capture a wild Weasel, which Dawn would later capture. This Shellos became a staple of Zoe's team while she continued to compete in the Sinnoh Coordinator contests. It showed to have an incredible coordination with Zoe's other Pokemon and was able to impress almost immediately. Zoe's Shellos has since evolved into a Gastrodon sometime before the Sinnoh Grand Festival. Outside of battle or contests, the first time we see this Shellos, it was very timid and scared. However, this is due to the manner in which the Weasel approached it. While performing, Shellos is an absolute beast, probably being Zoe's number 2 Pokemon. Definitely the second most reliable Pokemon. Shellos are native to the Sinnoh region, or more aptly have adapted to the Sinnoh region once it developed from the ancient Hisui. You can always find Shellos on the beach, near the water and the coastlines, because this is their preferred habitat. And as mentioned before, they can survive on land, however it's not ideal. Their bodies will start to dry out if they're away from the water for too long.